Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now imagine this: every thought you think is not just something floating in your mind, it is energy. And energy has a frequency. Just like radio stations broadcast on different frequencies, your thoughts are broadcasting signals into the universe. The question is, what station are you tuned into? If your thoughts are filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, you're tuning into the station of lack, of worry, of "I can't." But when your thoughts are filled with possibility, gratitude, and vision, you tune into the frequency of abundance, of opportunity, of "I will." This is the quantum secret. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being. Every time you think the same old thoughts, you fire the same neural pathways. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a memory of the past and the imagination of the future. It only knows what you repeatedly focus on. And so, by thinking the same thoughts, you keep creating the same reality. But the moment you choose new thoughts, the moment you see yourself not as the victim of life, but as the creator of it, something remarkable happens. Your brain rewires, your body responds, your energy shifts, and that shift begins to attract experiences that match your new frequency. This is not wishful thinking. This is not fantasy. This is science. The quantum field is a field of possibilities. Infinite versions of you already exist there. Successful you, confident you, healthy you, abundant you. Which version you experience depends on what you consistently choose to focus on. So today, I invite you, A, to notice your thoughts, A, to release the ones that keep you small, to intentionally plant the ones that align with the future you desire. Because your thoughts are not random. They are the blueprint of your reality. Change your thoughts, and you change your life. Every thought you think is not just a silent whisper in your mind. It is not just an invisible story running inside your head. A thought is energy. It has power. It carries a frequency like a signal being transmitted into the space around you. And whether you are aware of it or not, those signals are creating the experience of your life. Think about a radio station. You cannot see the waves, but you know they exist because when you tune your device, you instantly pick up the sound that is being broadcast. The universe works in the same way. Your mind is like a transmitter. Every thought you think is like a broadcast going out into the invisible field. The quality of that broadcast, whether it is full of fear or full of hope, whether it vibrates with anger or gratitude, determines what you pick up in return. When you wake up in the morning and the first thoughts that enter your mind are about stress, worry, or lack, you have already begun to tune your inner frequency. You might think those thoughts are harmless, just passing clouds in the sky of your mind, but they are far more than that. They are the first signals you are broadcasting into the universe. And because energy attracts energy, those thoughts are preparing you to experience a reality that matches them. You begin to notice things that confirm your worries. You see problems instead of opportunities. You interpret events as obstacles instead of possibilities. But the opposite is equally true. When you choose to start your day with gratitude, when you deliberately focus on the good that already exists in your life, you shift your broadcast. Suddenly, your energy carries a different tone, a higher frequency. You begin to tune into opportunities that were always around you but invisible to your stressed or worried mind. You start to notice connections, synchronicities, small signs of alignment that guide you toward the life you actually want. Science has shown us that the brain and the heart generate electromagnetic fields. Your thoughts and emotions are literally measurable as energy. The field around your heart is many times stronger than the field around your brain. That means the combination of what you think and what you feel is radiating out into the environment all the time. You are like a walking radio tower, broadcasting your state of being to the world, and the world responds in kind. If your inner signal is incoherent, full of contradictions, where your thoughts say one thing but your feelings vibrate another, then the broadcast is weak. But when your thoughts and your feelings align, When you think about abundance and you also feel gratitude as if it has already arrived, then your broadcast becomes powerful. It becomes magnetic. That signal doesn't just float into space. It interacts with the field of possibilities, pulling experiences toward you that match the frequency you are sending. This is why people who dwell on fear often find themselves living in fearful circumstances. They think something bad is going to happen. They feel anxiety in their body. Their energy field broadcasts that signal, and the universe responds by showing them situations that validate their fear. On the other hand, people who practice gratitude and train their minds to expect goodness often appear lucky to others. But luck is simply alignment. Their thoughts and feelings are consistently tuned to a higher frequency, so they naturally draw experiences that feel abundant and positive. You may wonder, if this is true, then why does it sometimes feel like our positive thoughts don't immediately create positive results? The answer lies in consistency. A single positive thought is like a spark. But if it is followed by a flood of old negative patterns, the spark dies quickly. To change your reality, you must practice broadcasting a new frequency long enough for it to override the old one. Just as a muscle strengthens with repeated use, your thought patterns become dominant when you focus on them repeatedly. Every time you think a thought, neurons in your brain fire. If you think that same thought again, the connection between those neurons becomes stronger. Over time, those connections turn into habits of thinking. The brain begins to automatically fire in those patterns, even without your conscious choice. This is why it is so important to interrupt the cycle of negative thoughts and deliberately install new ones. By choosing again and again to think thoughts of empowerment, gratitude, abundance, and love, you rewire your brain. And as the brain rewires, your energy changes. As your energy changes, your reality follows. Imagine two people standing in the same room. One is filled with bitterness, resentment, and anger. The other is filled with compassion, optimism, and peace. They are in the same environment, but they are not living in the same world. The angry person will interpret neutral events as personal attacks, while the compassionate person will see them as opportunities to practice kindness. The difference is not the room. The difference is the broadcast. Their inner frequency is shaping how they perceive reality and what reality offers back to them. The most empowering realization is that you have the ability to choose your broadcast. You are not a prisoner of random thoughts. You are not bound to repeat the same signal day after day. With awareness, you can pause and redirect. When you catch yourself thinking in ways that weaken you, you can stop, breathe, and choose again. You can ask yourself, what signal do I want to send right now? What frequency do I want to embody? That moment of choice is the beginning of transformation. So the next time you catch a thought of fear or doubt, remember, this is not just a thought. It is energy. It is a broadcast. And the moment you change that thought, you change the signal you are sending into the universe. And the moment your signal changes, your reality begins to change with it. Your thoughts are not invisible. They are not meaningless. They are the most powerful energy you carry. Every thought is a broadcast, and every broadcast is shaping your future. Choose them wisely, and you will discover the quantum secret, that your inner world has always been the true creator of your outer world. Every person carries within them a quiet longing for a better life. We dream of success, of love, of peace, of abundance. And yet, how many of us live each day waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right person, the right set of circumstances? We imagine that if we can just want something badly enough, if we can just hold it in our mind as a desire, then life will magically bring it to us. But the truth is deeper. The universe does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are being right now. Your focus, your attention, your state of being, these are the forces that shape your reality. Think about it. Desire is only the seed. Everyone wants something. People want health, wealth, happiness, freedom. But if desire alone created reality, then no one would suffer. The difference between wanting and living is focus. Your focus is the water that nourishes the seed of desire. It is the sunlight that allows it to grow. Without focus, a desire is only a daydream. With focus, it becomes a living force. So, what exactly is focus? It is the decision to place your energy and attention on a single possibility until it becomes more real to you than the distractions of the world. Focus is not simply thinking about something once or twice. It is returning again and again with intention, with emotion, with belief. Focus is the act of embodying the reality you choose before it has yet appeared in the physical world. This is the secret of the quantum field. Infinite possibilities already exist. The version of you that is healthy, confident, abundant, successful, it is already there, waiting in potential. But you will never experience it if your focus remains scattered between the past, the fear of the future, and the noise of the present. Only by aligning your focus, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, can you collapse the possibility into reality. Imagine your mind is like a magnifying glass. When sunlight passes through it unfocused, it warms the page but does not burn it. But when the light is concentrated, when all the rays align into a single point, the fire begins. That is what your focus does. It concentrates your energy, your signal, your being until reality has no choice but to respond. The challenge, of course, is that our modern world constantly pulls at our focus. Notifications, distractions, fears, doubts, the endless cycle of what if and what next. And every time you give your focus to something that weakens you, you are feeding energy into a future you do not want. You are unconsciously rehearsing the reality of stress, anxiety, and limitation. But here is the empowering truth. You can reclaim your focus. You can train your attention the way you train a muscle. Each time you bring your awareness back to gratitude, back to possibility, back to your vision of who you want to be, you are strengthening your ability to shape reality. You are aligning more and more with the version of yourself that already exists in the field. Remember, focus is not just mental, it is emotional. If you think about abundance but feel lack, your focus is divided. If you think about health but feel unworthy, your focus is fragmented. The universe listens to the coherence of your signal. When your thoughts and feelings match, when you think abundance and feel gratitude, when you think confidence and feel strength, then your focus is whole. That is when reality begins to shift. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two people applying for the same opportunity. One focuses on fear. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? Their body tenses, their energy shrinks. The other focuses on possibility. This is my chance. I am ready. I bring value. They feel calm, open, magnetic. Both walk into the same room. Both face the same interview. But reality responds differently to each, not because of luck, but because of focus. You see, focus is a declaration of identity. When you focus on fear, you declare yourself to be a victim of circumstances. When you focus on gratitude, you declare yourself to be abundant. When you focus on possibility, you declare yourself to be the creator of your life. The universe does not give you what you want. It mirrors back who you have declared yourself to be through your focus. And this is the invitation to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the right job, the right relationship, the right opportunity before you decide to feel worthy, abundant, and whole. Instead, choose to focus now, live as if it has already arrived. Think and feel in alignment with the reality you want, and reality will have no choice but to align with you. This is not pretending. This is training. Just as athletes train their bodies before the game, you train your mind and heart before life presents the opportunity. By holding your focus, you become the version of yourself who naturally attracts the circumstances you once thought were out of reach. So the next time you find yourself slipping into doubt, ask yourself, what am right now? Is this the future I want to create? If not, shift, breathe, choose again. Place your focus deliberately on the reality you prefer. Feel it, embody it, live it now. For in the end, Reality is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. And the doorway is focus. The more you practice directing your focus toward possibility, the more you will realize that life has always been responding not to your wishes, but to your state of being. Wanting is easy. Everyone wants. But reality belongs to those who focus. Every time you think a thought, something remarkable happens inside your brain. Tiny electrical signals fire across neurons, forming a connection. And the more often you think that same thought, the stronger that connection becomes. It is as if your brain is laying down tracks, building a pathway, a road that your mind can travel on more and more easily. This is what scientists call neural pathways. Now, imagine you are walking through a field of tall grass. The first time you step into it, the grass resists you. It bends, but then springs back up. But if you walk the same path again and again, the grass begins to stay down. Soon, a clear trail is formed. Eventually, it becomes the easiest way to cross the field. That is how thoughts work. The more you repeat a thought, the more natural it feels, the more automatic it becomes, and the more your brain wires itself to travel that route without effort. This is both the gift and the trap of the mind. If your repeated thoughts are empowering, if you constantly think, I can grow, I can learn, I can succeed, then your brain builds pathways of possibility. It makes confidence feel natural, creativity feel normal, and action feel effortless. But if your repeated thoughts are limiting, if you constantly think, I am not good enough, I always fail, nothing works out for me, then your brain wires those pathways too. Doubt becomes automatic. Fear becomes familiar. Failure feels like destiny. This is why so many people feel stuck. They are not trapped by reality, they are trapped by the pathways they have built inside their own minds. Their brain has been conditioned by years of repetition to keep replaying the same patterns, which then create the same results in life. It is like watching the same movie over and over again, expecting a different ending. But here is the liberating truth: neural pathways are not fixed. The brain is plastic, which means it is capable of change. Just as you once built a pathway of limitation by repeating old thoughts, you can now build pathways of empowerment by choosing new ones. Every time you interrupt a negative thought and replace it with a positive one, you are stepping off the old trail in the grass and beginning to walk a new one. At first, it feels uncomfortable. The old path is familiar, easy, automatic. But if you continue to choose the new thought day after day, you begin to wear down a new trail. Soon, that becomes the easier route. Think of someone learning a new skill, like playing the piano or speaking a new language. At the beginning, every action feels clumsy, forced, unnatural. The brain is struggling to wire new connections. But with practice, repetition, and focus, those connections strengthen. Eventually, the skill becomes effortless. The same is true of thought patterns. At first, gratitude feels forced. Confidence feels unnatural. Abundance feels like imagination. But if you practice those thoughts consistently, your brain will begin to wire them as your new normal. This is not just psychology. It is biology. When you think a thought, your brain releases chemicals that your body feels as emotions. Those emotions then reinforce the thought, creating a loop. If you think stressful thoughts, your body releases stress hormones, which make you feel more anxious, which then creates more stressful thoughts. But if you think empowering thoughts, your body releases chemicals of well-being and motivation, which create feelings that inspire even more empowering thoughts. This loop is how your mind and body create the state you live in every single day. So, what does this mean for your reality? It means that your present life is a mirror of your most practiced thoughts. If you want to know what thoughts you have been repeating, just look at your circumstances, your career, your health, your relationships. All of them are reflecting the pathways you have wired. This can be a hard truth, but it is also the most empowering one. Because if your life is the result of practiced thoughts, then changing your thoughts can change your life. The key is awareness. Most people let their minds run on autopilot. They repeat the same 60,000 thoughts every day, 90% of which are the same as yesterday. No wonder their lives look the same year after year. To break free, you must become conscious. Notice your thoughts. Interrupt the ones that limit you. Ask yourself, does this thought create the reality I want? If not, choose a new one. Plant it, repeat it, feel it. Even if it feels fake at first, keep walking that new trail in the grass. With repetition, it will become real. Remember, your brain does not know the difference between imagination and experience. When you vividly imagine success, gratitude, love, or abundance, your brain wires as if it is happening now. That is why visualization, affirmations, and meditation are so powerful. They allow you to practice new thoughts, to create new neural pathways before the outer reality changes. And once the pathways are strong enough, reality follows. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I am not enough, stop. That is just an old trail in the grass. You do not have to keep walking it. Instead, take a new step. I am learning. I am growing. I am worthy. At first, the grass may resist. It may feel uncomfortable. But every step you take is building a new path. And the more you walk it, the easier it will become, until one day it is the natural way forward. You are not your old pathways. You are not your old thoughts. You are the thinker of the thoughts. You are the one who chooses the trail to walk. And when you choose with awareness, when you practice with persistence, when you align with possibility, your brain rewires itself to support the reality you desire. The truth is simple. Repeat a thought often enough, and your brain will make it real. Old patterns created your past. New patterns will create your future. Right now, as you sit here, there is not just one version of you. There are infinite versions. There is the you who succeeds, the you who fails, the you who chooses courage, the you who stays in fear, the you who heals, the you who suffers. All of them exist as possibilities in the quantum field. The question is not whether they exist. The question is, which one will you choose to live? To understand this, imagine a radio. At any given moment, hundreds of stations are broadcasting through the air around you. Rock, jazz, news, classical. All of them exist right now in this very room. But you cannot hear them all at once. You only hear the one you tune into. That station becomes your reality, not because the others do not exist, but because your focus has aligned you with one frequency. Life works the same way. The quantum field is broadcasting infinite possibilities. The version of you who is strong, wealthy, joyful, loved, creative, those stations are all playing. But if your focus is tuned to fear, to doubt, to lack, then that is the version you will experience. The others are still there, waiting, but your attention has locked you into one channel. Now, here is the extraordinary part. You are not stuck on one frequency forever. Just as you can turn the dial on a radio, you can shift your focus. And the moment you do, you begin to align with a new version of yourself. This is what it means to create your reality. You are not creating from nothing. You are choosing from possibility. Think about this. Every great breakthrough in human history began as a possibility. Airplanes, electricity, the internet, all of these existed in potential long before they became physical. They were possibilities in the quantum field. It was only when someone focused on them, believed in them, and acted in alignment with them that they collapsed into reality. The same is true for your life. The future you desire already exists as potential. Your job is to tune in. But how do you tune in? Through focus, through thought, through emotion, through energy. If you wake up each day expecting the same problems, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, you are tuning into the same frequency of the past. That is why your life keeps repeating itself. But the moment you begin to imagine something new, to feel gratitude for a future that has not yet happened, to act as if it is already on its way, you are tuning into a different possibility. And over time, that possibility becomes your reality. Science shows us that the quantum world does not behave like the physical one. In the quantum world, particles exist in multiple states at once until observed. Your attention, your observation, is what collapses potential into reality. This is not just abstract theory. It is the very process by which your life unfolds. What you consistently observe in your mind with thought and feeling becomes what you experience in the world. Here is a simple example. Two people walk into the same room. One has been focusing all week on problems, on stress, on lack. They notice everything wrong. The mess, the noise, the discomfort. Another has been focusing on gratitude, on opportunity, on growth. They notice everything right. The people, the potential, the beauty. Same room. Different realities. Why? Because each tuned into a different frequency of possibility. This is why your focus is so powerful. It is not just a mental exercise. It is a creative act. When you choose to dwell on failure, you collapse the version of you who fails. When you choose to dwell on success, you collapse the version of you who succeeds. When you dwell on love, you collapse the version of you who is loved. Life is constantly asking, which version of yourself will you bring into existence today? And here is the secret. You do not need proof before you shift. Many people wait. They wait for success before they feel successful. They wait for love before they feel worthy. They wait for abundance before they feel grateful. But waiting only keeps you tuned into the same frequency. The real power is to feel it now before it happens. To think it now before it appears. To live it now before it arrives. That is how you tune the dial. That is how you shift realities. At first, it may feel like pretending. But remember, your brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. When you vividly imagine your desired future, when you feel it in your body, your brain fires the same pathways as if it were already true. In that moment, you are no longer waiting for the future. You are rehearsing it. And the more you rehearse, the stronger the signal becomes until reality aligns with it. So ask yourself, which version of me do I want to live today? The fearful one or the courageous one? The limited one or the abundant one? The sick one or the healed one? All of them exist. You are not creating from scratch. You are choosing from infinite possibility. And when you realize this, life becomes an adventure. Every thought, every feeling, every focus becomes a brushstroke painting your reality. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the artist of your existence. So do not ask, is it possible for me? Instead, ask, which possibility will I focus on today? Because the truth is, you are already living one version of yourself. Why not choose the one that reflects your highest vision? Infinite versions of you are waiting. The universe is broadcasting them right now. And your focus is the dial. Turn it wisely. Every lasting change begins with one simple but profound decision, the decision to shift your identity. Because the truth is, you cannot create a new future while holding on to the same old version of yourself. You cannot step into abundance while identifying as someone who is always lacking. You cannot experience love while identifying as someone who is unworthy. You cannot live in health while identifying as someone who is broken. Your identity is the foundation of your reality. It is the invisible script running beneath every thought, every action, and every choice. And most people do not even realize they are living according to an identity they never consciously chose. Maybe it was shaped by family, maybe by culture, maybe by past failures or past pain. But if you look closely, you will see that much of who you believe yourself to be is simply a story you have been repeating. Here is the powerful truth: your identity is not fixed. It is not written in stone. It is not locked into place. It is a construct built out of thoughts and beliefs. And because it is built, it can be rebuilt. Think of it this way: your brain is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. Over time, certain seeds grow stronger because they are watered again and again. These become the plants that dominate the garden. If the seeds were thoughts of doubt, of I can't, then your identity becomes a garden of limitation. But if you begin to plant new seeds, thoughts of courage, of gratitude, of I am capable, and you water them consistently, your garden begins to transform. The weeds of the old identity lose their strength. The flowers of the new identity take root. This process is not instant, but it is powerful. Every time you choose an empowering thought, you are signaling your brain to rewire. You are asking your body to feel differently. You are shifting your energy to match a new future. At first, it feels unfamiliar. After all, the old identity has been practiced for years, maybe decades. But if you stay committed, the unfamiliar becomes familiar and the new self becomes natural. This is why affirmations, visualization, and meditation are so powerful when used consistently. They are not empty words. They are tools for building identity. When you repeat, I am worthy, I am strong, I am capable, you are planting seeds of identity. When you visualize yourself healthy, successful, loved, you are rehearsing the reality of a new self. When you meditate and quiet the old patterns, you make space for a new version of you to emerge. But here's the key, you must feel it now. If you only say the words but feel the same old emotions, the old identity still holds power. Emotion is the language of the body. Thought is the language of the mind. When the two come into alignment, identity shifts. That means you must not only think the thought, I am abundant. You must feel abundance in your body now. You must not only think the thought, I am loved. You must allow yourself to feel love now. When thought and feeling align, your energy broadcasts a new signal, and the universe begins to mirror it back to you. This is not about pretending, it is about practicing. At first, it feels like rehearsal. But remember, your brain does not know the difference between rehearsal and reality. When you consistently practice the emotions of your future self, your body begins to believe it is already true. Your cells respond, your chemistry changes, your energy shifts. And when you live as if your desired future is already here, you collapse the possibility into reality. Consider the difference between someone who says, I want to be healthy, and someone who says, I am a healthy person. The first is chasing a goal. The second is living from identity. And because identity shapes behavior, the healthy person naturally chooses differently. They move differently, eat differently, act differently. Not because they are forcing it, but because it flows from who they believe they are. This is why true transformation is not about forcing new habits. It is about becoming a new person. Once you shift identity, the habits follow effortlessly. So, who do you believe yourself to be right now? And more importantly, who do you choose to become? Do you identify as the one who struggles or the one who thrives? As the one who doubts or the one who believes? As the one who settles or the one who creates? Every identity is available to you, but you must choose. The process begins with awareness. Notice the old story. Catch yourself when you say, I'm just not good at this, or that's just who I am. Those are not truths. They are identities you have been rehearsing. Then interrupt them. Replace them with the identity of your future self. Ask, if I already were the person I want to become, how would I think? How would I act? How would I feel? This is not faking. This is aligning. This is collapsing the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And remember, small shifts compound. Every day you live as your new identity, even in small ways, you strengthen it. Every thought, every feeling, every action aligned with your future self is a signal to your brain, body, and energy. This is who I am now. Eventually, the shift is complete. The old identity loses power. The new identity becomes natural. And when that happens, you do not just think differently. You feel differently. You do not just act differently. You attract differently. Opportunities, people, and experiences that match your new identity begin to show up because reality mirrors who you are being. So the secret is this: your future is not waiting for you to arrive. Your future is waiting for you to become. Shift your identity and your brain will rewire, your body will respond, your energy will align, and reality will follow. Every building begins with a blueprint. Before the foundation is poured, before the walls are raised, before the doors and windows are put in place, there is a design. That design is the plan. Without it, construction is random, chaotic, and fragile. With it, the building takes form exactly as imagined. Your life works the same way. Your thoughts are the blueprint of your reality. They may feel invisible, intangible, even fleeting, but make no mistake, they are the design from which your future is built. The challenge is that most people live unaware of their blueprints. They think thoughts are random, disconnected, without consequence. But science shows us something very different. Every thought is electrical activity in the brain. Every thought sends signals to your body, producing chemicals that create emotions. Those emotions influence your actions, and your actions create your results. It all begins with a thought. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life will reflect chaos. If your thoughts are small, your life will reflect limitation. But if your thoughts are clear, powerful, and intentional, your life will begin to reflect that design. You do not get what you want. You get what you think about most. Imagine two people given the same opportunity. One thinks, I'll never succeed. People like me don't make it. I'm not enough. That becomes their blueprint. They hesitate, sabotage themselves, and eventually prove their thoughts correct. Another thinks, this is my chance. I can learn. I am capable. I deserve this. That becomes their blueprint. They act boldly, persist, and eventually succeed. Same opportunity, different blueprint, different outcome. Now, think of how many people live their entire lives recycling old blueprints handed down by family, culture, or painful experiences. They wake up each day thinking the same thoughts as yesterday, building the same walls, painting the same rooms, repeating the same patterns. They wonder why nothing changes, unaware that the blueprint they are using cannot produce a different structure. Here is the liberating truth: you can draw new blueprints. Your mind is not fixed. Your life is not locked. Every thought is a pen stroke on the canvas of your future. And by choosing different thoughts, you begin to design a different reality. This does not mean ignoring difficulties. It means choosing the design you want to live from, even in the face of difficulties. If you face a setback and your thought is, this always happens, I'll never overcome it, then you are etching that outcome into your design. But if your thought is, this is temporary, I am learning, I will rise stronger, then you are building a future of resilience. The circumstances may be the same, but the blueprints lead to very different lives. It is important to remember that blueprints do not manifest instantly. If you draw a design for a skyscraper today, the building does not appear tomorrow. There is time, effort, and construction. The same is true for your life. A single new thought may not change everything immediately, but repeated thoughts, practiced thoughts, consistent thoughts, those begin to shape the architecture of your reality. This is why daily mental practice matters so much. Meditation, visualization, affirmations, journaling, these are not small rituals. They are the tools by which you draft and reinforce your blueprint. Each time you quiet your mind and choose empowering thoughts, you strengthen the design of the life you are creating. Each time you revisit your vision and feel it in your heart, you add detail and clarity to your blueprint. And here is the most extraordinary part: the universe itself responds to your design. Just as builders follow a blueprint to raise a structure, life aligns itself with the patterns of your thoughts. Opportunities, people, and circumstances begin to assemble around the frequency you broadcast. Some call it coincidence. Some call it luck. But it is simply alignment with the design you have been creating all along. This is why people who focus on problems seem to attract more problems, while those who focus on solutions seem to attract more opportunities. The first are drafting blueprints of struggle. The second are drafting blueprints of growth. Life is not punishing one and rewarding the other. It is simply following the design provided. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if you are unhappy with your current reality, the first place to look is not outside of you, but inside. Ask yourself, what blueprint am I building from? What thoughts have I been repeating? What design have I been unconsciously drawing? And then, more importantly, what new blueprint will I choose? This is not about denying reality. It is about designing a better one. If you are struggling with finances, you can still choose thoughts of possibility. I am learning how to create abundance. Opportunities are coming my way. If you are struggling with health, you can still choose thoughts of healing. My body is intelligent. I am moving toward balance. If you are struggling with self-worth, you can still choose thoughts of love. I am worthy. I am enough. I am valuable. These thoughts may not instantly erase challenges, but they change the blueprint. And when the blueprint changes, the construction of your future begins to shift. So the invitation is simple: take responsibility for your blueprint. Stop treating thoughts as random and powerless. Recognize them as creative and precise. Each thought is a line drawn on the architecture of your destiny. Each repeated thought is a wall being built, a doorway being shaped, a future being prepared. And here is the final reminder: no one else gets to design your life for you. You may have inherited old blueprints, but you are the architect now. You can erase, redraw, and expand. You can imagine more, create more, and live more. Your life will not outgrow your thoughts. Your reality will not surpass your design. But the moment you choose new thoughts, you choose a new future. And that future will rise, piece by piece, into the life you once only dreamed of. So, draw boldly. Think with intention. Design with vision. Because your thoughts are not random. They are the blueprint of your reality. And the masterpiece is waiting for you to begin.